Well, friends, good morning. So again, today we celebrate the feast day of Saint Faustina. I want to read and then reflect on a short snippet from the homily that Pope St. John Paul II, he delivered on April 30th, 2000, which was that year's the second Sunday of Easter. This was the canonization Mass for Saint Faustina. She was the first saint canonized in the new millennium. So here's what the Holy Father says. And I'll spare you my JP2 impression. I'll just read it in my voice, okay? Today my joy is truly great in presenting the life and witness of Sister Faustina Kowalska to the whole Church as a gift of God for our time. By divine providence, the life of this humble daughter of Poland was completely linked with the history of the 20th century, the century we have just left behind. In fact, it was between the First and Second World Wars that Christ entrusted his message of mercy to her. Those who remember, who were witnesses and participants in the events of those years and the horrible sufferings they caused for millions of people, know well how necessary was the message of mercy that Jesus told Sister Faustina. Humanity will not find peace until it turns trustfully to my divine mercy. Through the work of the Polish religious, this message has become linked forever to the 20th century, the last of the second millennium, and the bridge to the third. It is not a new message, but can be considered a gift of special enlightenment that helps us to relive the gospel of Easter more intensely, to offer it as a ray of light to the men and women of our time. Sister Faustina's canonization has a particular eloquence. By this act, I intend today to pass this message on to the new millennium. I pass it on to all people so that they will learn to know ever better the true face of God. The true face of God. St. John Paul II, right, as a philosopher, as this deep thinker, as a priest, a bishop, archbishop, cardinal, and then eventually supreme shepherd of the church, elevated to the papacy in 1978. This man, JP2, he understood, clearly as anybody, the horrors unleashed upon humanity in the 20th century. He had front row seats and a clear vision of it all. Because horrible ideas have horrible consequences. And when that happens, mountains of corpses and rivers of blood ensue, all as a result of dehumanizing ideological views on the human person. But the thing was, it wasn't just war, the war machines of the 20th century. It was, as I just said, it was the attacks on the meaning of the human person, the attacks on the meaning of marriage, the meaning of family, the meaning of our sexual complementarity, all of those things, the havoc wreaked in the hearts of humanity ever since the sexual revolution, like all of that having this compounding effect, leading to so much devastation. Like John Paul II, he knew that what Jesus spoke to Faustina, this message of mercy, he knew that it would be even more needful now, moving into the 21st century. That's why he's saying, by this act, I intend to pass on to the next age of the church this mission of mercy. I find it so absolutely astounding that the same man who taught the world more eloquently than any other pope about the meaning of our humanity, of our embodiment, masculinity, femininity, that same man who taught the world the theology of the body is the same one through whom this message of divine mercy enters into the bloodstream of the church and into the world. It's like these two teachings need to be held in one hand, one in the other. Right? Both the theology of the body, John Paul II's great teaching on our humanity, which is the antidote to the sexual chaos and confusion all around us, and divine mercy, both of these truths get injected into the bloodstream of the culture. Right? Divine mercy, as Jesus reveals to Faustina, divine mercy is not God's juridical act by which he declares us free to go. I think of, I have a younger brother, and he's 6 years younger, and I just think of all the times growing up when we'd be wrestling, and I'd get his arm twisted and pinned, and he'd have to say mercy for me to, let him go. That's not divine mercy, right? Divine mercy, it's something altogether more unbelievable, right? It's Jesus' tender, personal, and intimate desire to love us at our worst. That's his mercy. It's this unfathomable predilection of God to love us at our least lovable places. That's his mercy. This message of divine mercy, friends, right? It's even more necessary in our own day and age when people have been suffering so much with so much trauma and so much pain and so much shame from so many bad choices. Like, we are a civilization that I think is crippled by shame, convinced that deep down there's something fundamentally broken, unredeemable, and unlovable about me. That if you saw the real me, you wouldn't love the real me. So to that part of our hearts, right, to the worst sinner, to the most fallen away, to the hardest heart, Jesus repeats what he said to St. Faustina, which was this: tell all sinners that my greatest desire is that they would snuggle close to my sacred heart, and from there I would give them peace. Amen.